Good morning. Good morning, y'all. We are back on that 9:30 a.m. live grind. 9:30 a.m. live grind. 9. We have Paper Street Coffee on deck. If you guys are potsies that can tolerate coffee, Paper Street Coffee is the best coffee. Use code CXC for 20% off. I actually don't get any kickback for that. It's my buddy's brand. It's super good coffee. It's organic, fair trade, well sourced. I just genuinely really enjoy coffee. I really love coffee. So if you're able to drink coffee, it's one of the best out there. So I definitely recommend going and getting it. Today is an interesting day. I haven't been on in a couple days. I've had a lot going on. You know what? Not going to make excuses. I haven't been on. I just haven't been on. I've been doing other stuff. I've been having my focus shifted elsewhere. I've been trying to make videos that in one live, I asked you guys what videos I should make, and I've been concentrating on those super hard, actually. Been really grinding it out. And so I think I've done 2 so far. The third one I'm going to start filming today. It's going to be on heart rate. This seems to be a topic that people want to touch a lot. They want to talk about it a lot. So I'm going to refilm another heart rate video just to kind of clarify some points and give you guys insight to how I actually talk to my clients that have POTS syndrome and what I tell them about heart rate and what I really believe, because I think that heart rate is an important, unimportant topic for POTS. So that's a big one. And then managing flare-ups, I think I'm going to talk about in another video next week, how to manage flare-ups. And yeah, just give you guys the strategies that I actually give to my clients personally. So give me 1 second. Something doesn't seem right in here. Yeah, hold on. Okay. Now the vibes are set. Now the vibes are fully set. All right, so today I'm going to screen share with you guys. I'm going to screen share my laptop because dude, there has been this look, I'm a big proponent of not focusing on negativity. And most times I'm a big proponent of not addressing false accusations and allegations. However, there's this guy who's basically been spamming my account, and he is telling people to not pay attention to the things that I say because he doesn't even think that I have POTS syndrome. He's like basically accusing me of not having POTS syndrome. And normally I would not address something like this. However, I think that the reason why I'm going to address it today is because I think that what he's doing is harmful. And I think that this is what a lot of people with POTS do that is harmful for other people in the community. And so because I think it's harmful to other people, that's why I want to go ahead and talk about it. Because if he's telling people not to listen to my advice because he has some sort of vendetta, because he feels some sort of way about how his condition is compared to mine, and he's telling people not to listen to the advice I'm giving, which is solid advice. I've taken people from bedridden to working out to having a job to holding their job down, stuff like that. Then I think that that's harmful, and I think that it can put a kink in the knife, you know. So regardless, and that's again not to say that I have the answer for everybody, but if people can get a sliver of hope from the advice that I'm giving, and try this stuff out for themselves, and it makes them progress even 10% or 5%, that's a win for me. If anybody can get any sort of relief from their symptomology, from their symptoms and from their condition, even if it's 5%, if they get a little bit of relief, that is a win to me. And I just don't think that people that don't know you or don't know your personal situation or anything like that should be talking about this. He's essentially doing what all POTS people complain about, which is like the doctors, right? The doctors saying that you're lying. That's the thing that all POTS people complain about, and he's essentially doing the same thing. And so I want to show you guys that. I want to show you the hypocrisy that is the POTS community on this side, on that side of the internet, and bring it to light, because my whole movement, my whole channel, everything that I put out there is based on the positive sides of things. Like, you can get better. These are the things that you can try to do to get better. These are the, like, giving hope. That's the whole point of my channel. But it's fun. It's interesting how there's even doomsday people that will come in and try to wreck what is trying to be a good thing, right? Like, I'm trying to shift people's mindset to positivity, trying to shift people's mindset to hope, trying to give people little tidbits of information that I've learned along the way that have helped me tremendously and a good amount of other people, and just bring it down, because they're either insecure about how they feel, they're not willing to actually do the things. Maybe they've tried something similar and they've failed. I don't know what the issue is, but it's negative and I don't like it. So we're gonna dive into this. All right. So I'm gonna screen share with you guys now. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. Ooh, that's not what I needed to do. All right. So this is it. All right. So this girl commented on the video that I did. It was is chronic illness a choice? Okay. And she goes, I think how you deal with it is a choice, and it plays a big part in either falling down a negative rabbit hole or saying enough is enough, trying to better yourself. But I'm only just realizing this. I'm in the process of being diagnosed, but I realized that diagnosis or not, my symptoms are real, but life is for living, and I need to do my bit for my health to push forward and make the most of what I have and focus on that. And I love the mindset that this girl is taking. She's essentially taking exactly what I've told you guys, is that regardless of your diagnosis, regardless of your symptoms, regardless of how you feel about it, you're having it, you're feeling it. So instead of focusing on maybe the how do you say, the origin of everything. Whoa, what happened? What just happened? Hold on. Okay, that was weird. That has never happened before. Instead of maybe focusing on the origin of everything, focus on the symptoms. Focus on what you're actually dealing with and go from there. Like, make this progressive. Make it, like, actually find a way to progress, right? And so then this guy, Luke 4, and I wish I could, like, block out his name, because I don't think that it's deserving of, like, giving the person any attention, and I don't want him to feel any sort of way about this, because it could be that he might regret this. But regardless, he put it out there for the public to see. I'm in the public way more than he is, you know, in the sense that, like, I put myself out there. So I'm putting myself out there. You're having a judgment of my character, stuff like that. We're just going to address you like this. So sorry, dude. I wouldn't be so caught up in what this guy has. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have it. May sound harsh, but it's true. And it's always, you guys will see the trend, the common trend, because there's been a couple other people that have said stuff like this. So you're going to see a common trend of the type of person that says things like this. And I go, love this mindset shift. And then I comment back something a little bit petty. I go, yeah, I chose to lie about a fringe illness that no one knows about. Seems legit. The reason why I say that is because people with POTS we think it's like so big. We think that everybody should know about this type thing. Like it's big in our lives, but we can't put into perspective that it's not big in the big picture in other people's lives. Like no one knows about what this is. 500,000 to maybe 2 million people in the United States alone have this thing. Out of how many people are in the United States? 500 million, 400 million. It's like not even 0.10%. It's not even 10%. Like it's not even like 0.01%. I don't think. You guys can do the math, but it's such a fringe thing. And so the thing that I've wrestled with a couple times is I would have to literally get a dictionary of fringe chronic illnesses, spin a wheel with the names of all of them, and then choose one and be like, this is the one that I'm going to try to take advantage of. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not that person that I'm like, what kind of person would even do something like that? And the fact that you can even imagine that there's people that would do that type of thing makes me more concerned for you than it would for someone like me. Because I just don't know what kind of person would do that. And maybe it's because I'm so not the person that would do something like that I'm highly offended by it, or that I'm more offended by it. Because there's a few things that I believe in life. The number one thing that I believe in the most is integrity and how I live my life. And the thing that I hate most is when people question my integrity. My ethic code, my moral code is tell the truth always, never lie. Because I'd rather be an asshole for the first 5 minutes of telling you the truth about something than lying to you and you finding out 10 days later, a month later, a week, whatever it is, a year. And then I have to deal with the repercussions of I just never told you the truth. And now I'm even bigger of an asshole. The other thing is that I think that all good things come through truth. So if I want to develop more clients through POTS, I'm going to tell the truth instead of lie about all the things that I deal with, all the ways that I feel, all the things that I think. Because if I tell the truth about all these things, I'm going to attract clientele that I want to be in my corner, that I want to be on my side. And that way, I don't feel like I have to censor anything I'm saying. I don't feel like that I have to play a part that isn't me. I can authentically and truly be myself if I'm always telling the truth. And that's what I want to be. That's how I live my life. I don't want to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. I don't want to censor my speech. I don't want and not that I say anything outlandish, but I don't want to have to feel like I'm living on edge with anybody at any time. So he goes, there's quite a few attention all over the place with people sufferers. Instagram videos are a representation that influencers with this problem seem to get the likes and comments for having it. Being an outlier of someone who dealt with it, def would have its financial benefits. Otherwise, why would you be selling a plan that's directly related to it if there was not enough people to profit off of it? And my argument is going to still be the same thing here as it has been in other lives. Said, this is pretty out there. How likely do you think it is that I would, as a random person on the internet, decide to find a random, almost unheard of chronic illness that literally less than 0.01% of the population gets? Aside from that, is it bad for me to charge for a service based on me giving my time away and experience? What is the alternative? Taking 10 phone calls a day for free? I have a family, a business, and people who rely on me. So I should just drop everything and take calls for free? Also, I give out tons of info on this for free via my channel. Hey man, I hope someday you feel like people aren't out to get you and you create a more positive frame, because this ain't it. Now, why this is so important to me is because I think people in the chronic illness community, right, we get taken advantage of often. I have had my fair share of L's, for sure. I have taken a bunch of L's while dealing with chronic illness, going to different doctors and feeling like I'm being, I hate using this word because I still don't even really understand the way to use it, but feeling like I've been gaslit. I've gone to natural medicine doctors and had paid for consultations and then found out that it was just a money suck. Thankfully, I'm not very easily persuaded. I'm a salesperson myself, so I'm not very easily persuaded with many things. So I tend to not take treatments when I can smell a little bit of bullcrap, But I've definitely taken my fair share of L's. Like I just worked with somebody that I feel like I took a L on. I just worked with him and I called him out on it, and he's like a pretty big Instagram dude. And he made it right, to be fair, but I called him out on the L, and then he made it right. My point being is that this community does get taken advantage of a lot, but there is also people who aren't going to take advantage of you. So because you've had poor experiences with people in the past or feel like you've been taken advantage of, that's a really bad vantage point to start from when there's people who genuinely do want to help. Now, I'm not saying to never be skeptical, always be skeptical. Be skeptical with me. I'm telling you guys upfront and honestly, be skeptical with me and don't trust everything that I say, and don't think that everything that I do is holier than thou, because it's not that way. But the thing that I always try to do, because I believe in telling the truth so wholeheartedly, I always try to frame things as, hey, this works for me. Please do not do everything that I do because it's not going to work for you. This is my experience, and this comes from me working with a bunch of other people. I'm always trying new things. With you, it's going to be experiment. I'm gonna get some of my clients on lives with me, and I'm gonna have them tell you how I frame conversations. I always say this is trial and error. The first month, maybe the first 2 months is gonna be difficult. We are gonna see some progress, but that doesn't mean that it's not gonna come without its trials and tribulations. It doesn't mean that. I would never promise someone gold when there's only silver, ever. Do I believe that I can help a lot of people with pots? Yes. Do I believe that I can help everyone? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I would never pretend to be that way. Now, after that, he goes, or point two, but I get your reasoning. So this just tells me that this is a person that just wants to argue, right? Or point two. Like the point isn't the percentage of people. It's just, it's so fringe that it's bothersome that you even think that I'm faking it, but he has to get his last little thing. And unfortunately, he's arguing with somebody who also likes to argue. I took a lot of philosophy courses and debate courses in college, and I took some graduate course, metaphysics, stuff like that. Anyway, and he goes, you deleted my other message, which says it all. Why not just do a standing test? It's shitty spreading false hope whilst making yourself seem like you've conquered something. So herein lies, I'm going to explain something really quick before this. You deleted my last message. I honestly have no idea what he's talking about. I think that there was a message, a comment that he left that was hyper, and I addressed this in this comment, that was hyper, like focused on symptoms. And I don't like that. I don't like when people comment, and I've been super transparent about this. I don't like when people comment things about hyper fixation on symptoms or trying to address other people's symptoms on my channel, because number one, you're not a medical doctor. Number two, you're suffering yourself. You haven't done anything to prove that you can help somebody else with their symptoms. You're just feeding the anxiety. And that's not what this place is. That's not what this channel is. It's not a place for you guys to feed off of each other's anxieties. It's a place for you to find hope. It's a place for you to find motivation. It's a place for you to help actually deal with what you're going through. I don't want people to come to my channel and be stuck in a negative thinking loop. That's not what this is. And yes, I will delete comments if I think that that's what you're doing. Period. It's not me policing what people are talking about. It's me trying to create and cultivate a positive community, a positive place, a safe place, if you will. I hate that. It's super gay, but a safe place for people to go to with their chronic illness, because you're already dealing with so much shit. You're already dealing with so much. I don't want my portion of the internet to be a part of your bad day. I think that's okay. I think that's fair. I go, I didn't delete anything. What are you talking about? Do you have anything else to do besides be a keyboard warrior? Leave whatever comment you like, unless it is too symptom focused and could get other people anxious. I won't delete it. You're so hung up on a guy that got diagnosed 7 to 8 years ago. Go watch my videos, see the struggle, see the hard work that I put in. You clearly haven't watched the content. I don't need to prove anything to one person on the internet so you feel better about your situation. Why do you feel entitled to my life and situation? Again, good luck on your journey. I hope you find peace and wellness. What you're doing now surely won't add to it. You guys, I got diagnosed 7 or 8 years ago. 7 to 8 years ago. If you choose not to go back in my videos, if people choose not to go back in my videos and see why does this keep doing this, man? If you guys choose not to go back in my videos and see what has happened, see what I've gone through and see the struggles and see all that stuff, then it's not my problem. It's just really simply not my problem, right? Because I show all the struggles. I've shown how I've gotten through, well, I not really haven't shown how I've gotten through dysautonomia and POTS or anything like that, but I've openly talked about everything, right? I've talked about all my strategies, my struggles, the things that I go through, stuff like that. So if you don't want to do your research on me, it's not my problem. I don't know what to tell you, right? I really don't know what to tell you. And the other thing is like, it's so crazy because people who are struggling, misery loves company. And people who are struggling, when they see other people that have gotten better or they see other people that are in a position that they want to be in, it's really easy to get jealous or to be hurt, to be honest with you, by yourself. It's the same thing when like guys who like can't get a girlfriend see other dudes with a really hot chick and money and they're like, oh, it must be nice. That dude got it overnight, that type of thing. It's really easy to look at me and people that I work with and be like, that happened overnight. They're really lucky. They don't have POTS. It's really easy to dismiss. What you don't see are the things that we go through every single day to make sure that we get better, to make sure that we are able to live a life that we want to live. It's hard freaking work. And if you don't want to do it, that's not my problem. It's simply not my problem. I'm here for you when you decide that you want to do the work. That's what I'm here for. Jazan, I'm going to read the chat. Jazan, you do come across sometimes as if everyone can heal if they stop whining and start pushing themselves hard without emotion. I could see how that would upset people and say weird stuff like this. Look, okay, and if that's how I make things sound, it's definitely not what I'm saying. And I think oftentimes what people do is they hear the words you're saying and they don't understand the message, right? I think often, and to be honest with you too, it's not my problem. That's not my problem, right? Maybe it's a problem with my messaging, but again, I'm transparent. I'm not going to change who I am or how I do things for the sake of maybe hurting somebody else's feelings. Look, if I come across that way, I'm sorry, but likely what I think it is, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, is that you're listening to the words, not the message. What I'm saying is that, hey, stop whining about the situation, stop crying about it, and find a solution. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that that's pretty solid advice. There's going to be times where you get emotional. There's going to be times where I get emotional. There's going to be good times. There's going to be bad times. But focusing on the bad and continually focusing on it and continuing the cycle of bad and crying and poor, woe is me type stuff, that's surely not going to add to the positive. That's surely not going to take you any step forward. So my message is try to focus on the positive even when things are bad. And it's hard. I'm not saying that it's not hard. It's very hard. It's not an easy thing. Your mind, your mindset, your heart, those are muscles that you need to train and that you need to flex. And I think I've been pretty transparent about that too, that it doesn't happen overnight. But thank you for the chat, Jazan. Thank you for the comment. Don Blade, great advice. You are very transparent. Thank you, sir. Should POTS and dysautonomia is basically the same dysfunction of autonomic system. I think that what he wants for his clients is develop a good, not perfect base. That's absolutely right. Something has to change with us people who have dysfunction in our autonomic system. Hard to improve unless you can change. Yeah, there's that adage that nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you're stuck in a constant feedback loop of negativity and you don't make the choice to change, you're not going to change. You can't. How could you possibly change? My only ask and my only question for people is, hey, just try. Just try it. try. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. And I don't think that I come off as that. I think that I'm perfect. I've literally gone live during workouts to show you guys I'm not perfect. I haven't completely defeated this demon, but I do what I can every single day to stay on the side of good, to stay on the side of God, to stay on the side of positivity. But I'm not always going to win the battle of I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Well, I am always going to win the battle. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not always going to not struggle with that. I'm going to struggle with that. But the other thing that I try to show is that we're not the only ones who struggle with that. That's part of the point of those lives that I've done when I'm working out is you have heard my girlfriend in the background screaming. You hear my girlfriend going through struggles in the background too when she's working out. We're not the only people that go through that. The difference is that people with POTS have a hyper awareness of what's going on. Interoception, it's something that I talk to a lot of my clients about. The ability to be it's basically being hyper aware of what's going on in your body. That's what POTS people have. They have that to the nth degree. And that's why you explain these symptoms to doctors and they tell you there's nothing wrong. And then they put you on a stress test. They put you on an echocardiogram and there's nothing wrong, but you still feel your heart hit really hard because you're hyper aware of what's going on. And I think what Don said in the chat right here is really important. I think what he wants for his clients is to develop a good, not perfect base. That's exactly, you couldn't have said it any better. I couldn't have said it any better. That's exactly what I'm asking for. And if you talk to my clients, when I go live with my clients at some point, they'll tell you that I don't expect perfection from them. I don't expect them to defeat the battle every single day. I don't expect that to be the case at all. I expect them to take little steps forward every single day, even if it's a toenail step, a little step forward. WMP, it's tough work. I think people want a magic pill or lay in the bed and wake up as if nothing ever happened. For me, the fault was mine and no one is going to do the work for me. Exactly that. That part. The work is tough, man. And I just put in my forum, my community forum on my app. Here, let me see if I can read this to you guys. Let me see if I can find it. I sometimes reference this book because it did a lot for me. It's called How Bad Do You Want It? And it's a book on endurance athletes. Like, how bad do you want it? Mastering the psychology of mind over muscle. And so this says, it's talking about flow state. So where does it come from? It comes from letting go. The athlete who lacks self-belief can gain it by consciously pushing her goals and the worries that surround them out of her mind and teaching herself to stay focused on the task of the moment throughout the training process that leads up to the next big race. The progress that issues from this heads down, just do it approach cultivates self-belief in a way that no amount of visualizing the perfect race can. And so I think what happens oftentimes with people with POTS is they're super hyper focused on what used to be. What used to be, how their health used to be, the life that they used to live. Or they're focused on what they wish they could have, what they wish they could be, where they wish they could go. But they're never focused on the here and now. So the point that WMP in the chat is making where they want to lay in bed and just wake up as if nothing happened or get a magic pill is perfect for what I just read you guys. Because what I said in my forum, my community forum after I read that is, stop focusing on what was, because that's where a lot of this anxiety comes from. That's where a lot of this woe is me stuff comes from, is I used to be able to go running for 2 miles. I used to be able to do this, or look at all these people who are doing what I want to do. And, I have FOMO. I'm so bummed that I can't do all these things. And focus on right now. Focus on what you can do now. And one thing that surely you can do, if you even can't get out of bed, one thing that you can do, and it's hard, it's not easy, it's work, And so many people with POTS though are afraid of doing the work. That's what I've noticed. They won't do the work. They don't want to do the work. They want to wake up as if nothing happened, just like you said. But the one thing that you can do, even if you can't walk, is you can practice being positive. I don't think that that's an unrealistic or a dickish thing to say, that you can practice being positive. Is it going to be hard to be positive? Absolutely. No one's saying that it's easy. No one has ever said it. And if my messaging comes off so much that I just say like that, it seems like I'm saying, just be positive. Like, why can't you just be positive? Then either I've done a very poor, and I'll take accountability for it. Either I've done a very poor job at explaining that it's a muscle that you have to train. It's a muscle that you have to flex, or people are just completely glazing over the point that I'm making and they're only hearing my words. It's one of the two. I don't care which one it is, because I'm going to correct it right now. If anything that you can do, if you are immobile, if you're in a wheelchair, if you're in bed, you can absolutely at least practice trying to have a positive mindset. You can absolutely practice that. Absolutely. Look up Dr. Joe Dispenza and all the stuff that he's done with neuroscience and mindset, stuff like that. What's his name? Tony Robbins too. Not that I'm like a huge fan of Tony Robbins, but there's all these guys who focus on. Why is my dog freaking out? Is there a dog outside? There's all these dudes who focus on mindset and telling you how much it can shift your life and change and stuff, but so many people just want to glaze over it. And they don't think that it can be anything. Hold on one second, guys. Give me a second. The air conditioning people are here. Jazan, I think your messaging is good. I think find what works for you might sound like find what will cure you. A little more clarification there could maybe save you some arguments. Yeah, I agree. And if that is a fault of mine, to be honest with you, you guys, I've been super transparent about this. I don't know why I just got really out of breath. I've been super transparent about this too, that I'm very intense. Like the way that I live my life is high intensity. I live life with a very high intensity. And I talk very passionately about things that I care deeply about. It is what it is. You know, it's just who I am as a person. Like I said earlier in this live, like I don't want to be at the whim or at the will of other people. I'm not going to pretend who I am. That's not who I am. That wouldn't be me living in my truth and who I am. My truth. That was super dumb. That wouldn't be me living in who I truly am, you know? So I'm going to hand it over to the chat, you guys. Well, no, I'm not. So anyway, let me see. Let me see if there's anything else there. And so there's nothing else that this guy said. There was another, you know, I feel like the past few lives I've kind of focused on like the negative side of the POTS community, and I haven't really tried building the positive side of the POTS community. And you know, it's easy. It's even me, right? Even me. I can get sucked into the negative side of things. I can get sucked into things that, you know, aren't necessarily conducive to the way that I live, but I'm very transparent about that too. I'm not going to sit here and act like I can't get sucked into the drama, because I'm only at 916 subscribers, I think. Let's see. 917 subscribers, and I've already gotten sucked into some sort of drama. But I just want to clarify, and I want to be transparent towards the people that do follow me and do look to me for advice and look at me as some sort of inspiration, I want to be super transparent with you that I'm human. I'm not going to act superhuman. I'm going to act superhuman in some ways as if I'm like your older brother and give you guys advice and tell you like, you can do this, that type of thing, and be super, super encouraging and all that. But definitely know that I still deal with struggles in this realm. I still deal with issues in this realm, and you're not alone with that. I think that is super genuine and helpful. And I've said before that I don't want to be relatable, because if I was relatable, then maybe you wouldn't find, inspiration in me. And that still holds true. I don't want to be relatable on the side of like symptoms and stuff like that, because to be honest with you, I don't deal with the same symptoms anymore. I was diagnosed 7 or 8 years ago, dude. I figured it out, for me. And I want to show you guys that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think that, again, if any of my clients are watching, Mike, especially, one of my clients, Mike, he wanted to do a YouTube channel, and we talked about it, and I told him what I think would be super cool is if he focused on his recovery. Like, as we're working together, him focusing on his recovery and making that the crux of his channel, making that the content that he produces. I think that would be really cool. And if there's any of you guys out there that don't have a YouTube channel and maybe aspire to have a YouTube channel and also aspire to feel better, I think that would be so inspirational and so cool. And that is relatable stuff. And you can show people, even when it's hard for you, that it is possible to get better. That girl, the POTS coach, she just posted, and although I'm not a huge fan of like POTS people doing, deficits and extended deficits and bodybuilding, but that girl, the POTS coach, she just posted like a testimonial and before and after pictures of one of her clients that dealt with POTS and now doesn't have POTS and has made a dope aesthetic body transformation. I think that more of that needs to happen. More people need to be showing that side of this stuff. And there's not enough people showing that stuff in this community. It's all focused on, like, to be honest with you, fat, out of shape, people still sulking in their emotions and in their symptoms and eating crappy food and not showing you how they're dealing with things. It's people showing you like that they are symptomatic and that they're fat and they're lazy and to be honest, and crying and stuff, and like literally people filming themselves crying. I don't know why they even think that that's content to post. Like, I don't know. And so what I would like to see is more people showing the process to getting better and being transparent about it. And today was really tough for me, and I'm feeling very symptomatic today, but I know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and showing their workouts and being like, hey, I'm 3 weeks into this thing. It sucks. Like, I feel like crap, but I'm starting to feel more good. Like, I feel like crap from the workout, but on a day-to-day basis, my symptoms are feeling much better. I think that that's the type of stuff that we need to be promoting. If you want to show yourself crying through the process of getting better, I think that's different than like showing yourself just crying for the sake of, I'm crying because I have these symptoms and I feel like it's doomsday and I don't think I'm going to get any better and I have ADHD and I have OCD and trauma and I'm depressed and all this stuff. I think that, like, yeah, we all are, dude. We all are. We all have OCD. We all have ADHD. We all have gone through depression, anxiety, stuff like that. Doesn't mean that we need to focus on it. I'll be honest with you. I do think that a lot of these people who post content like that are like attention whores or clout whores, because I don't know any other reason. We know that if you cry on camera, it's going to get a bunch of views and likes. We know that. The hard thing to do, genuinely, the hard thing, like it's hard for me even. The hard thing to do is to come up with content that's based on positive aspects that you're going through and try to show hope. That's really hard. I oftentimes cannot think of of material to post or ideas to post. And that's why I asked you guys in one of my last lives, what do you guys want to see? But I oftentimes can't think of that because it's hard to show what are positive sides of this. It's easy to talk about negatives. It's easy to show yourself crying. That's all easy stuff, man. I agree that for focusing on making your life as livable as possible, it's better to be on a positive, helpful side of the internet. People do have the right to vent to the internet and find support. I agree. They absolutely have the right to do whatever they want. Especially, I live in America. You can do whatever you want. You can do, but the other side of that coin is that there's going to be people like me that don't agree with it and that voice their opinion of not agreeing with it. So just like people that have the right to do that content, I have the right to be like, hey, I don't think it's right. I don't think that you should be doing that. That way I think they make content to feel supported. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they do it to feel supported or if they do it to inflate themselves. Hey, check this out. For any content creator, a portion of why we do it is for the attention that we can receive. It feels good to have people watch you. It feels good to have people like the content that you're making. It feels good to have people thumbs it up. It feels good. I'm not going to lie about it. I have been doing some form of content my entire life. I used to play in a live band. I used to play in a band and we would travel and do different shows and play with bigger bands and stuff like that. It wasn't just the passion of music that kept me showing up to gigs and playing. It was the attention too. So I cannot sit here and pretend like the reason why people make that content is to feel supported. And I'm also not going to pretend on my side that the only reason I do this is for the how do you say it? For simply for the sake of being positive and helping people. I would be lying if I said that's true. Now, is that the majority of why I am doing it? Yeah, absolutely. But there is also a portion of me that's like, oh, this is awesome. I've said it to you guys before. Watching the number go up is awesome. Like, I can't wait till I hit 1,000 subscribers. That's going to be dope. That's going to be sick. Like, there is a piece of that too. So do I think maybe, like, I think that like people know that we're in an attention economy. People know that drama and that bullcrap gets views. If it didn't, people wouldn't post it. If it didn't, people wouldn't post it. So I can't sit here and pretend that would be the case. I can't do it. And I'm surely not going to pretend for me. I believe in the truth always. And that's what I'm on the quest for, is the truth, and yeah, so whatever, it's my philosophical mind now that's really getting a hold of me, and I'm going to just pause. I love your honesty. Thanks, Jazan. I try to be honest even when it hurts. Not just other people, but me. I try to be honest even when it hurts. I think that that's all you can do. It's all you can do in life is be honest, and hope that it works out in your favor, right? So anyway, wow, 44 minutes has just flown by like that. That's crazy. When I get on these lives, I feel like Destiny. Do you guys know who Destiny is? I feel like Destiny. just not the liberal version, just the non-liberal version. Also not the conservative version. And I know that some of the stuff that I've said is probably going to irk some people, and I may lose followers from that, and that's okay. You know, I want people on this side. I want people on this side to resonate with honesty and to resonate with, you know, he's not going to BS us, and to be on the side of positivity and stuff like that. I don't want people over here. I'd rather have 500 dope followers that are down and that are like, you know, like, yeah, we want to be positive, and we start a movement and we're like, you know, just vibing off of each other, than 10,000 people who are just all over the board, have no idea what's going on, that type of thing. So that's part of the reason why in this early portion of the journey, right, before I hit 1,000 subs and before we blast off to 5K, before we blast off to 10, 20, 30, I'm trying to keep everything consistent. I'm trying. And there will be slip ups along the way. And I probably will change my mind on things. But at least I'll be honest about that whenever it happens. I'm always going to tell you if I change my mind on something. I'm always going to tell. There's actually a few things that I've changed my mind on with pots about. There's actually quite a few things with pots that I've changed actually, I don't know if it's that I've changed my mind or if it's that I've gotten clarity on a few things. I used to think that, let me dive into this real quick. I used to think that sodium was the answer for everyone's pots. However, okay, so I do think that sodium is a big piece of the puzzle for most people. But I think that for a lot of people, sodium doesn't solve everything like I used to think. I used to, you know, a recommendation that I do make, I'm going to put you guys on game real quick. A recommendation that I do make to a lot of my clients is try to ingest 3 to 4 grams of supplemental sodium, specifically supplemental sodium per day, along with at least a gallon of water. That's what I recommend to most clients that I have. 3 to 4 grams, a gallon of water. We can increase over time depending on symptoms. But I used to have a heavy focus on sodium and thinking that would solve a lot of people's problems. And a lot of times it solves a big portion of people's problems. But the more that I've kind of educated myself on this and autoimmunity and histamine and stuff, and like, you know, there's like what's really popular right now is MCAS, mast cell activation syndrome. That's really popular. The more I've kind of learned about all these things, the more that I think the issue is like really complicated, and it's not as simple as people would like it to be. What I tend to believe now is that I don't even know if it's this is going to sound crazy. Okay. But this is going to sound crazy. How I think I can best explain this without getting myself in trouble is POTS is an umbrella term. Dysautonomia used to be the umbrella term, and POTS was one of the subcategories of that. POTS is an umbrella term of a bunch of symptomology that you acquire, and they all come together, right? POTS is that. And so when I have gone through gene sequencing, and I've gone through blood testing, and I've gone through all this stuff, right? And then when I look at a bunch of people who have POTS, and I've talked to, I don't know, it's got to be at least 100. No, not 100, but it's got to be really coming up to like 50 or something like that. It's quite a bit of people, right, that I've had consultations with, and I've worked with a bunch of people. You know, something that I'm noticing is that there's a lot of past traumas and stuff. And trauma is a weird word, right? Trauma, to me at least. I do a lot of reading on psychology and health in general, all this stuff, right? I do a lot of reading, a lot of listening to podcasts. You guys should get the book Brain Power by Dr. Chris Palmer. He's a Harvard psychiatrist. Anyway, the more that I get deep into this, I realize POTS is an umbrella term for a host of symptoms. And when these symptoms coincide together, that's the diagnosis that they give you as POTS. Now, the origin of POTS, I'm not so sure is actually, this is going to sound crazy, a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. And this is just my opinion. Okay. This is just my opinion, not medically proven, nothing like that, but it's an umbrella term. And when I've gone through gene sequencing, I see that I have a slow COMT, I have a mutation of the MTHFR, I have a few other mutations that I guess I don't really need to go into. I know that MTHFR is really popular right now too. Again, it's come back to popularity after like 10 years. And I knew this 10 years ago that I had the SNP in my MTHFR, or two SNPs. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what to do with it besides methylfolate and stuff, but there's so much more that goes into it. Riboflavin, B12, P5P, all this stuff. And when I've done the research on, not research because I'm not a researcher, but when I've read on histamine intolerance and what histamine actually does in the gut and how do you methylate things and whatever, I've realized that this is way, way, way more complicated, but it's also kind of simple. It's way more complicated than people would like to believe, but it's also kind of simple. And when you look at all these things that go in conjunction together, right? The gene stuff, the blood work stuff, all that, when it comes to POTS, the simple answer is that lifestyle does have a huge impact, way more of an impact than people think. But people really want medicine and they want a quick answer. But if people would do the work and they really shape up their lifestyle, get rid of environmental toxins, stop smoking, stop drinking, don't do drugs, when they clean up their diet, when they heal their gut, when they supplement with the right things that they need to supplement with via blood work, gene report, stuff like that, data, dude, I've seen like just things completely shift. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, yeah, that's my theory and stuff, my little thing that I'm spouting. As long as you say it's just your theory, people should respect that. I like that people have hypothesis, and maybe one day one of those will turn out to be true and help us all. Yeah, definitely. And like, by no means am I a science dude. I'm a science dude in the fact that I really like literature and I like to read and keep up to date, but I'm not the dude that's actually doing the research. These are just things that I've observed. Let's say that. These are things that I've observed. Clients have gotten blood work. They've shared blood work with me. I have done blood work. I've gotten gene reports done, stuff like that. I've worked with some really awesome doctors, some really awesome alternative medicine doctors, and I've been able to talk to some, and I've gone to seminars like the CrossFit for Health seminar, and I've talked to, what's it called? Read books. So whatever. Yeah. Just going off on tangents now. Oh, man, I can't believe 53 minutes has flown by. It's so easy. Can you share more about gene reports and what kind of information that can give you for POTS? Yeah, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in this either. I'm going to give you guys my experience, and I'm going to talk over why I think that a gene report could be really, really insightful for you. So I worked with this guy. His name is Dr. Tyler Pansner on Instagram. Can I pull that up? Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to be able to pull it up. You guys just give me 1 second to do this. Because I want to give credit where credit is due for this. So a long time ago, I started hearing about this guy, Dr. Ben Lynch. Not a long time ago, I guess, but I don't know. I started hearing about this guy, Dr. Ben Lynch. He has this book called Dirty Genes. I started to look into it more. I literally consume almost a podcast a day from this guy because he's just so insightful, so knowledgeable about stuff. And then there's another guy. There's going to be 3 guys right now that I'm going to tell you guys to go look up. Dr. Ben Lynch is number 1. The second guy is Dr. Chris Masterjohn, Masterjohn. And then this third one is Dr. Tyler Panzner. I'm going to be super transparent about Dr. Tyler Panzner. I paid about $3,000 to work with him because I wanted to dive deeper into my health. My personal experience was not super great with Dr. Tyler Panzner. And I told him that. I told him exactly that. I told him, hey, man, your communication is terrible. I don't know if you're really focused on the fact that your page is blowing up right now and you got a lot of clients coming through, but my experience hasn't been great. And he made it right. He made it right. He gave me free call or whatever. And we went over my gene report stuff and all this stuff and whatever. He was very insightful. He made it right. So here's his page. His page is very good for education. So he is trained in pharmacology. He's a PhD in pharmacology, something like that. DNA for more info, optimize or cellular health, genetics, and supplement expert, optimizing lives by understanding your unique DNA. So check this out. Now, what we're going to get into, I think that he actually does have a reel on POTS specifically. I can't remember if I'm remembering wrong or not, but I'm almost certain. We talked about my POTS and stuff like that. So from my understanding is that I have a slow COMT variant. Okay. COMT is a gene of yours that's responsible for things like catecholamines and stuff. If you don't know what catecholamines are, let's say it's neuroepinephrine and, what is the other? There's an adrenaline, stuff like that. So, my body has a hard time actually utilizing those catecholamines or processing the catecholamines rather. So as I'm drinking caffeine, right, I don't get the jitters. I don't get like this. I don't get like this. I'm a person that could express anxiety internally and you would never know. Like I could be having a panic attack, and this is true. This has been true throughout my entire life. Like I'm not a person, when I had panic attacks, I wasn't a person that was like screaming and going crazy or anything like that. I'd be like this. Stoic, right? And so what the gene report is able to do is tell you what kind of catecholamine response you might have. And for people with POTS, let's talk about this. People with POTS, the catecholamine response is really important because it's fight or flight, norepinephrine, adrenaline, things of that nature. And that could explain some of the symptoms that you have via heart rate or the panic or the breathing. And so why... I'm not going to go super deep into it because, again, I'm not an expert. But why that's important is because some of that stuff can be handled via supplementation to support the SNPs that you have. However, you don't need to supplement to support those SNPs in your genes. You can alternate your lifestyle, right? Like you can make your lifestyle better because things that do have effects on our health in general, we're not going to talk about genes because I'm not an expert, although this is said to have effects on gene expression, are things like environmental toxins, right? Things that you are ingesting, water, if it's like, with fluoride and all these different things, those do have effects on your health, right? So like what kind of chemicals are you using to clean your house? Think about that. Do you have mold in your house? Think about that. And there's so many, don't even get me started, of my POTS clients who get duped by functional medicine doctors with mold. The mold thing is insane. And is it a real thing? Yes. But is it the end of the world? You can make adjustments in your house, use air purifiers, things like that. You don't have to do all these stupid, weird chelators unless you're going through some sort of really toxic mold or heavy metal poisoning, okay? Anyway, and chelators And a lot of these docs, they end up making you feel like crap. And that's why people can't get through the treatment, because the chelators and the binders and stuff make you feel like you're literally dying. And you shouldn't actually feel like that when you are detoxing stuff. So things like glutathione and whatever. Yeah, so that's the gene thing. That's why. So, and the other portion of it is if you have an MTHFR variant, right? This is something that I've known that I've had for a long time. So if you are not able to methylate properly, and you have a problem with, the production or the utilization of methylfolate, that can cause a whole host of problems that seem to be related to POTS symptoms and things of that nature. Now, I'm not saying that this all comes down to all of this stuff. By no means am I saying that, but I think that it definitely has a lot bigger of a role in this than we thought. That's why I brought up the lifestyle thing. I think that a lot of lifestyle shifts for people with POTS can create solutions for the mass majority of people. Oftentimes when I talk to people with POTS, their biggest issues are very simple fixes. Very simple fixes. I feel symptomatic after this food. I feel bad the next day I'm super symptomatic this week. Well, why? Let's take a look at your food journal. What have you been eating? Oh, okay. So it's been crap all week. Okay. Let's clean that up. Let's do meat and fruit. And it's not just the fact that it's meat and fruit, but it's the elimination of a bunch of stuff, right? Oh, you're feeling better? Interesting. Weird. So it's cleaning up people's lifestyle. What kind of water are you drinking? Oh, you're drinking sink water every day? Why don't we just try like spring water for a while, or what's it called? Glacier water, something like that. And then let's add our element to it. Oh, you're feeling better? Weird, right? It's like you don't get any steps in a day. Okay, let's take some steps. Let's start having step goals. Let's hold you accountable to doing some sort of movement. Now you're feeling even more better. Oh, wait, you're back to playing golf. You're back to walking outside with your family. What? Weird, right? Weird how lifestyle changes. Like, let's wake up and go and stand in the sun. Let's go connect our feet to the ground, to the earth. Okay. Make sure that you have good sleep hygiene. Like, get your head on a pillow by 10 p.m. and turn off the lights, and don't, oh, you're feeling better because you got restful sleep. You got good sleep. Interesting. So and I'm not trying to say that this is the end all be all, but lifestyle goes so much further than people want to give it credit for. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to solve all your problems. There are the people probably like me that need to do, and also lifestyle stuff can get expensive, right? Like if you're getting like air purifiers and stuff like that, that can be very expensive. So there are people like me that need to supplement to support ourselves, right? That need to do it to support ourselves. And that's okay. There are those people, and that's okay. But always start with lifestyle first. See how far you can get just changing things up, changing your habits. Oh, you started taking glycine before bed and you're starting to get way better sleep. So some things that like people can do that are actionable for lifestyle to keep track of stuff is start tracking your food. Have a food journal. Get MyFitnessPal, and every single thing that you put in your face hole, log it. You don't have to measure it. Just log what you've eaten and take a look at it at the end of the week and realize and try to see if there are any sort of lifestyle shifts that you can make. Another thing is to get some sort of fitness tracker or a sleep tracker. Not for the heart rate. Please don't monitor your heart rate incessantly and, obsessively, but track your sleep. What does your sleep look like? When did you get to bed? When did you wake up? How restful was your sleep? Okay, your sleep really sucked. You woke up 4,000 times. Let's try a sleep supplement. Like, that goes a long way. Not melatonin, but something like, Third Z is the company that I'm associated with. Full transparency. I love that supplement. It has magnesium, GABA, L-theanine, 10 grams of collagen. It's amazing. Third Z, code counterculture. The code is counterculture ZZZ. You get 20% off. It's an amazing supplement. It's super, super, super good. Or just try glycine before bed. Glycine's expensive by itself, but try glycine, 3.5 grams, and then track your sleep again. See if it helped. And if it helped, that's something that's worth continuing to buy. Checking the chat. Science nerd. All I can say is Justin has absolutely changed my life with the things he has taught me. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. You're not even one of my clients. I think the science nerd, I see him comment on a bunch of my stuff. He actually watches the content. And remember when I told you guys a few lives ago that you can either take what I say and all the information from different videos that I have and put the pieces of the puzzle together, or you can hire me as a coach and I can do it for you, but I give out all my information for free. He's a perfect example of that. I remember talking to him almost a year ago, and I was in my gym when I had it in the office. It was at night, and we talked a little bit, not on the phone. We just we're going back and forth or texting or whatever, messaging. And emailing. It was email. And he said that he was going to go to PT and figure out PT first and then hopefully sign up with me or whatever. And it seems like he didn't even need to sign up with me. He's got it. He's made a bunch of progress. So again, I have videos. The information's free. Take action. Try to do some stuff. Try to do some of the stuff that I've talked about and see where it takes you. If you need extra support, I'm here when you need it. Something that I'm really trying to do too is educate myself more and more. As this channel is growing and as people come to this channel, I understand and realize that they come here for advice and they come here for some sort of knowledge. I am trying wholeheartedly to educate myself more, to read more, to listen to more stuff, to consume more content that's not just brainless, mindless, but to consume content that can help me help others, that can help educate me so I can help others more. I think that that's really important because I do see my role as somebody who is going to help at large with this community and help a bunch of people. So I need to be super educated. And I've thought about going back to school, not just because of this, but so I can help more people and stuff like that. But I just don't think that that's in the hand of cards right now, or the deck of cards. So yeah, I don't know, man. Over an hour already. Holy nuts. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the other two people that I was talking about that you should follow. So I'll re-show you real quick. I'm going to show you Dr. Tyler Pansner's page so that you guys can follow him. Okay. Boom. Dr. Tyler Pansner. All right. That's him right here. Dr. Tyler Pansner. Let's go to Dr. Ben Lynch. Dr. Ben Lynch is this guy right here. He is the author of Dirty Genes, epigenetics expert, father of three, founder of Seeking Health. He has a really cool story of why and how he got into health. So I would encourage you guys to first listen to what his story was, because I think it will make it more relatable and make you guys want to follow him more. Because if you're anything like me, I tend to want to follow people that have gone through struggle, have fixed struggle, and then decided that they wanted to use their knowledge and their experience for good in that way. I really, really trust people a lot more that way. I trust people that have experience, but I also trust people who have experience and education. So I don't want to just work with anybody. I don't want to take advice from just anybody. And if you're like that, if you're like me, check this guy out. The last one is Chris Masterjohn. This guy. Chris Masterjohn is a wealth of information. I get so lost in the things that he says. I can't even somewhat follow a lot of the stuff that he says. It's wild. Like he's so smart, and I have this feeling that he's like one of those guys that knows how smart he is. It's wild. It's wild. So, Jazan, are you also wanting to learn about all this stuff like MCAS, CCI, EDS, and everything that can come with and even influence pots? Yeah. MCAS, yes. Yes. Yes, that. I'm paying for a subscription to that Dr. Ben Lynch's, what's it called, to his education platform. He's got an education platform with like over 100 hours of seminars and stuff. I'm paying for that, and he does cover MCAS at length in there, and I think EDS too. I don't know what CCI is. I'm going to be transparent with you. Or maybe I do. Maybe I do if you would say like if you would spell out what the actual thing is. One thing that I have noticed though, right, is that for some of this stuff, there's not exact tests or anything. And a lot of this comes with guessing, almost like this is what else it seems like you have type of thing. You know, there's no like confirmation for a lot of the stuff, which seems to be a little bit sketchy to me, because I think that a lot of times people with POTS like have a lot of theories on what's wrong with them, and then doctors sometimes get stuck in the loop of confirming. And like I said at the beginning of this, there are a lot of people that get victimized in this community, and here's another diagnosis, here's another diagnosis, here's another diagnosis, here's another diagnosis. There's more ways to treat. These functional medicine doctors also make money based off of the supplements that you buy through them and the treatments that you do and stuff. And by the way, Dr. Tyler Pansner, if you do end up working with him, if you talk to him, he does have this thing called Full Script that you order through, that full transparency. He does get a kickback on, and he tells you that too, actually. He does tell you that. That's part of how he makes his money. So I wonder sometimes if all these other things are real that, you know, people get a sub-diagnose or an add-on diagnosis of, or if it's like them getting taken advantage of. And I can't know that. I can't know whether it's true or false. All I can do is use my own judgment. CCI is cervical cranial instability, and that can compress or something the big nerve, brain fog, and so fixating by training or surgery can lessen and sometimes eliminate POTS. I injured my neck twice last year. Bad. That's interesting that you say that. I guess, hey, Jazan, if you have any information on any of this stuff, like very to the point stuff, go ahead and send it my way over Instagram. I think that we're connected on Instagram. So go ahead and send stuff my way on Instagram if you'd like. Because I'm not opposed to it. Not opposed to it at all. All right, I'm going to film my heart rate with POTS video today because I have a pretty intense workout that I need to do. I have 16 minutes of, I think it's E2 mom. So every 2 minutes on the first set, I do 20 calories on my Echo bike. On the second minute, I do 12 to 14 burpee box jump overs. And I do that for 4 rounds each. So 16 minutes total. 4 rounds each. 16, math. 16 minutes total. It's going to be a mother effer. It's going to be very hard. So I'm going to film my heart rate video today because of what I have to go through to show you guys heart rate and to be transparent about that and tell you guys why it doesn't affect me, what my heart rate says, stuff like that. I think that should be a good video, especially given the intensity of the workout and showing you guys the intensity that can be handled with POTS, which is any intensity. Hey, by the way, I just want to say this. I have a friend who just posted his heart rate stuff on why does that keep happening? Who just posted his heart rate stuff on Instagram. He doesn't have POTS. He's actually a very high level CrossFit athlete, and he's not doing CrossFit anymore for the time being. He's focusing on other stuff, but regardless, it doesn't matter. He just posted that his top heart rate during a workout this past week or weekend, I forget when it was 207. 207. Now, for someone with POTS, that would make you feel like you need to go to the hospital immediately, but normal people don't feel that way. Just a point that I wanted to make, just something that I thought might be a good little tidbit of information, something useful for you guys. So anyway, that's going to be it, guys. I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes today. We got 5 likes. If you haven't liked this video yet, please like it. It helps push it in the algorithm. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me, complain a little bit in the beginning. Thanks for being active in the chat. This has been a really good one. It's been a fun time. Thanks for supporting me, to be honest. Thanks for the support, all the support. It's been awesome. So, Jazan, I'm going to read this and then maybe I'll address it in the video. That sounds very fun. I'm curious if you still feel symptoms, pressure on the chest and those things, and how those symptoms progress during the workout. I will keep that in consideration for this video. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to go live again tomorrow. All this stuff. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for believing in me. Thanks for believing in the message. As always, if you guys want 2 free weeks, in the description to my POTS community and forum, positive POTS community and forum. That's it. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.